Om Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagini व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. So we are studying this Prakarana Grantha called Dhanyaashtakam, composed by the greatest Dhanya Purusha, Sri Adi Shankaracharya, in which the Acharya describes, the entire vision and essence of the Upanishads and the Gita, and what is the nature of these Dhanyas. Who are the Dhanyas, the Punyatmas, the blessed and fulfilled Kritakrityas, and how to gain that state of being blessed. So these are going to be described in every verse of this Dhanyaashtakam. And in the last 4 verses, we saw Acharya describes how these renunciates, these mumukshus or jnanis, they have been described variously in all the texts we've studied so far. Atma Kridaha, Atma Triptaha, Atmaneva, Atmana Tushtaha, Sita Prajñas, and the Bhaktas. And so these, they have mastered the Shatru Ganam. Shatru Ganam is the host of negative tendencies, the addiction to Vishayan, then Mada, Moha, Kama, Krudhadi, Raga, Dveshas, and Tyaktva, giving up the I, me, and mine notion or the sense of ownership towards the bodies. How did they do that? By understanding that everything is given. The given is the giver, and that is Ishvara. So they are pursuing the Paravidya. Paravidya is Moksha Vidya, Dahara Vidya, Raja Vidya. And in chapter 10, Vibhuti Yoga chapter of the Gita, Sri Krishna calls it Adhyatma Vidya Vidyanam, the highest of all the disciplines of knowledge. And in the very first verse, Acharya says, Tat Jnanam, it is the knowledge that quietens and brings tranquility to the senses and the mind. And so that the mind can turn inwards to the Eka Nitya Vastu Parabrahma. And such a knowledge is to be gained, is Neyam, Nyatavyam. Whereas any worldly knowledge, Aparavidya will give us some skill, some expertise, and some knowledge to live a comfortable, relatively secure, peaceful life in the world. But this Paravidya is the liberating knowledge. And having gained this vision, this Atma Tattvam or self-knowledge, these Dhanyas are calm and detached, and they are enjoying that limitless freedom, peace, and security or happiness, in themselves, and they also grant it to others. Yeah. Whereas the Sheshas, the other people, they will have a roller coaster kind of life, and Paribhramantaha, they go round and round in the sorry-go-round samsara chakra. So that is what we have seen so far. And now let us continue to the 5th verse. In every verse, Acharya explains, how these dhanyas are to be understood. And once we understand their nature, then they become role models for us to emulate. So nobody is denied that status of being a dhanya. So here, the 5th shloka, and Lakshmi Mami can chant after me. fifth verse. त्यक्त्वैषणात्रयमवेक्षित मोक्षमार्गाः
त्यक्त्वेषणात्रयमवेक्षित मोक्षमार्गाः
भैक्ष्यामृतेन परिकल्पित देहयात्राः
भैक्षामृतेन परिकल्पित देहयात्राः
ज्योतिःपरात् परतरं परमात्मसंज्ञम्
ज्योतिः परात् परतरं परमात्मसंज्ञम्
धन्याद्विजारहसि हृत्यवलोकयन्ति
धन्या द्विजारहसि हृद्यवलोकयन्ति
त्यक्त्वैषणात्रयमवेक्षित मोक्षमार्गाः भैक्ष्यामृतेन परिकल्पित देहयात्राः ज्योतिः परात् परतरं परमात्मसंज्ञम् धन्याद्विजारहसि हृत्यवलोकयन्ति
त्यक्त्वैषणात्रयमवेक्षित मोक्षमार्गाः भैक्षामृतेन परिकल्पित देहयात्राः ज्योतिः परात् परतरं परमात्मसंज्ञम् धन्या द्विजारहसि हृद्यवलोकयन्ति.
So here the verse says tyaktva eshanatrayam avikshita moksha margaha भैक्ष्यामृतेन परिकल्पित देहयात्राः ज्योतिः परात् परतरं परमात्मसंज्ञं धन्याः द्विजाः रहसि हृदि अवलोकयन्ति. And so here, continuing to describe the status of the Dhanyas, what does Acharya say here? Tyaktva eshanatrayam. No, this is a very popular topic in the Shastra called Eshanatrayam. Eshana means the desire. So Eshanatrayam is the three fundamental and powerful desires, that is there for a human being. What are they? We will see shortly. Tyaktva Eshanatrayam, then Avikshita Moksha Margaha. And striving on the Shreyo Marga, these Dhanyas or these blessed ones on the Moksha Marga, Bhaikshyamritena Parikalpita Deha Yatraha, and managing this Sharira Yatra, this Deha Yatra with the Prasada of Bhiksha. And Jyotihi, the light of pure awareness, that pure consciousness is what? Parat Param. It is the Lord of the cause of this Jagat. If we take Maya to be the cause of the Jagat, then the Jyotihi here is Maya Vin, the Lord of Maya, Parabrahma. And such are the Dhanyaha, and who are Dvija. We will come to that also, second born or awakened to the higher nature. And what do? Hridi Avalokayanti. They contemplate and perceive that light of pure awareness called Paramatma, Paramatma Sangyam, in the depth of their meditation in the heart. They contemplate. So this is the meaning here. Now let us come back to the three fundamental desires. What does a human have? So it is called Putreshana, the desire for progeny, the desire to continue the lineage, by having children is a very fundamental and powerful desire. And the understanding behind that is that, there is an idea that the parents continue to live on in the form of their children. So that way, Shastra mentions that there is a notion of immortality. Yeah, that is, they will continue. The race lineage will continue. So that is the Putreshana here. Not only children, grandchildren also. Yeah, so the desire to have children and their children is quite a fundamental, powerful desire for human beings. The second is Vitteshana. Vitta means wealth. Yeah, what kind of wealth? Any kind of wealth that will give me security. It can be cash, yeah, and liquid. or solid hard assets like property, jewelry, or a certain status. Even children, they are seen as a wealth only, because for many children is also a means to get security. Yeah. So Vitteshana, and under Vittam will also come the religious merit. What is that? That is the punyam. Yeah. So by living a dharmic, religious life, performing various rituals, and undertaking pilgrimages, one hopes to acquire this adrishta dhanam, invisible currency called religious merit or punyam, by which one hopes to get a better situation, a more favorable, conducive birth, or even a Swarga Loka elsewhere after this life. So this is called Vitta Eshana. And then the third one is called Loka Eshana. Loka is a world. So the desire to become something in the world, to become a celebrity, to be recognized, to be approved and validated. So for the sake of some name, the status, to be something. Today we see, the social media is yet another virtual world, virtual Loka, and where people are projecting their profiles and projecting an image in order to get some validation and status. Yeah. So this Loka, Lokeshana can be also for Paraloka, to go to some Swarga Loka after this life. And there are many for whom moksha is attaining some Swarga Loka after this life. Yeah. And so these are the Eshana Trayam. Putreshana, Vitteshana, Lokeshana. But the Upanishads say what? Yad iha tat amutra. What is here, what we are enjoying here, will also be there in any other loka. Yeah? The environment may be different, but the samsara will continue. Just as I'm experiencing a world in the waking state, do I not experience a world in a dream state, a dream world? So too, whether it is the social world or it is a paraloka, swarga, the nature of samsara will continue. And hence we saw a mantra in the Kaivalya Upanishad, na karmana na prajaya dhane na tyage naike amritatvamanishuhu. Na karmana na prajaya na dhanena. Not by wealth, not by progeny, not by karma. Tyagena eva ekena amritam manushuhu. Only by tyaga, by renunciation, is that amritatvam, that is moksha, to be gained. Yeah. So these are the three fundamental desires the Eshana Trayam talked about in the Shastra. But the Dhanyas have done what? Tyaktva. They have given up. And so this, based on these Eshana Trayam, are the threefold pursuits: Dharma, Artha and Kama. We pursue Dharma or a religious life. Why? To gain Punyam, and Artha to gain security, and Kama for happiness and pleasure. Now, if the question is there, should we give up Dharma? This Vitteshana in the form of Dharma pursuits? Then the answer is to be found in Sri Krishna's words in the 18th chapter. The familiar Charama Shloka, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. So, even Dharma pursuit, if it is for the sake of Punyam, if I am doing, a Vedic ritual, grand Maha Rudra Yajna, or going to pilgrimages, or doing a great Dhanam, but I want Punyam from that, then yes, that is also to be given up. Because again, one wants to become someone in some place elsewhere. So Vedanta addresses that seeking, that wanting. And so that will also come under samsara. Okay. And so Krishna has said that, of course, adharma has to be given up, by pursuing a religious life. But then the mumukshu gives up even the dharma pursuit. How? By being committed to jnanam. And that is ekam, mam ekam vraja. Krishna said, come to me alone. Yeah. So the wise give up that I notion. We have seen earlier, Kattaram Anyam Avagamya. So the Dhanyas have understood that I am not the karta, not the bhokta. So I want to gain the knowledge of that akarta, abhokta, avyayam atma. And so thus they free themselves from this avidya, kama, karma, janma cycle. Yeah, by gaining the knowledge of the one that is actionless atma. And we have seen many times that does not mean they remain idle and they don't have to do anything. As per the prarabdha, actions continue, but they are free from the notion that I am the doer and I am the engine. So there is no account holder and no karma is going to be credited to the account of the dhanyas. They become a sakshi to the dance of the gunas and continue for the sake of the Sharira Yatra and also for Loka Samhita. Then if the question is asked, what about the Deha Yatra? How will this body continue if we give up all the Ashanas? And the answer is given as Bhaikshyam Amritena, Bhaikshamritena. Now the renunciates, what do? They seek alms, Bhiksha. Bhiksha means that which is given as prasada. So all the three ashramas, the brahmachari, vanaprastha, sannyasis, they receive bhiksha, because they are non-earning members. Now what about the grahastha-ashrama? They provide bhiksha, but they also have to do annagrahanam as bhiksha. That is, it is a prasada. And there is a rule that the body is the prarabdha karma phalam. Yeah? So until the purpose and the mission of this janma is over, the body has to continue. And that means what? The law of karma will provide nourishment for the body to continue. We don't have to worry about food and medicines. No? And of course, we don't have to go for gourmet cuisines and very tasty dishes and be demanding. And like we just heard in the Sadhana Panchakam, Bhikshaushadam Bhujyatam. So there, Acharya has also mentioned that word, that for this roga, for the disease called hunger, what is the medicine we must give the body? Bhiksha. Bhiksha is the aushadham. That means the right amount of dosage. Yeah, the minimum amount of food that is needed to keep the body going for the Deha Yatra is to be given. So no second helpings. Yeah, that is the first line here. So Tyaktva Eshana Trayam Avekshita Moksha Margaha. Avekshita Moksha Margaha are those who are, who are going along the Moksha Margas. Then Parikalpita Deha Yatra. Parikalpita means managing. Yeah? And so they manage the Deha Yatra, the Sharira Yatra, by receiving the Bhiksha as a prasada, from Bhagavan that comes through some form or the other, but it has to come, Har dane par likha hai khane wale ka naam. There is a popular Hindi, statement that what is due to come to us, each one of us in the form of nourishment will come. Nobody can deny that. That is already ordered and booked, and it has to come to this, to this jiva in order to nourish the body. Then, so what do the dhanyas do? The blessed punyatmas, jyotihi parat parataram paramatma samyam hridi avalokayanti. Yeah. So that jyotihi we have seen in the Gita also, jyotisham jyoti. There are many sources of light in the universe, all these shining luminaries in the sky, sun, moon, stars, lightning, fire, but all of them shine after tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati, after the light of pure consciousness. And that jyotihi is what? Parat parataram. We have that familiar song, no? Parat para parameshwara. So para is the maya prakriti. So the causal state, karana shariram, is what? The cause for the subtle and the gross bodies. But what is causing the causal state? That is parat param jyotihi. And here one more word is paramatma samyam. That is called paramatma or parameshwara. Nirguna parabrahma. And what do the dhanyas do? Dhanyas, Rahasi means in a very quiet, undistracted, solitary place. Rahasi, Hridi, in the heart space or in the depth of their minds, Avalokayanti. They contemplate upon, that Paramatattvam. In other words, they do Nidithyasanam. And there is another word describing the Dhanyas. Yeah, Dhanyas are Dvija. Who is a Dvija normally? In a narrow context, it is a Brahmana. Dvija means second born, twice born. Yeah, the first birth we all get from the womb of our biological mother. The body is born. Yeah, but the second birth, an awakening is given by the Guru, by the Acharya. And so the one who's initiated into the Vaidika Marga through the Upanayana ceremonies, those boys are also called Dvijas. Yeah? But here, in a bigger context, we can say the Mumukshu, seekers of moksha, and those who have been initiated into this spirituality or Jnana Kanda are also Dvijas. So these Dhanyas and these Dvijas, they, Hridi, in the heart space, they contemplate on that shining truth, the light of pure consciousness, and having given up the strong fundamental Eshana Trayam, Vitteshanam, Putreshana, and Lokeshana. In fact, the sannyasa ceremony that is done, Viraja Homa. And so the sannyasi to be takes a vow that I give up these three desires, and keeping the sakshi, in front of them. I give up the three fundamental desires. Now let us go to the sixth shloka, which is a very musical shloka here. You will see why. Na sanna sanna sada sanna maha sanna chano.
Na sanna sanna sada sanna mahanna chanu.
Na stri pumana jana punsakameka bijam.
न स्त्री पुमान्न च न पुंसकमेकबीजम्
यैर्ब्रह्म तत्सममुपासितमेकचित्तैः
यैर्ब्रह्म तत्समुपासितमेकचित्तैः
यैर्ब्रह्म तत्सममुपासितमेकचित्तैः
यैर्ब्रह्म तत्सममुपासितमेकचित्तैः
धन्याभिरेजुरितरे भवपाशबद्धाः
धन्या विरेजुरितरे भवपाशबद्धाः
न सन्न सन्न सद सन्न मह सन्न वक्षाणु न स्त्री पुमान च नपुंसकमेकबीजम् यैर्ब्रह्म तत्सममुपासितमेकचित्तैः धन्या विरेजुरितरे भवपाशबद्धाः
न सन्न सन्न सद सन्न मह सन्न चाणु न स्त्री पुमान्न च नपुंसकमेकबीजम् यैर्ब्रह्म तत्सममुपासितमेकचित्तैः धन्या विरेजुरितरे भवपाशबद्धाः.
And here we are going to see the first line is entirely very, very Vedantic. So let me break the sandhis. Na asat, na sat, na sadasat, na mahat, na cha anu, na stri, na puman, na cha napunsakam, ekabijam. Yaihi brahma tat samam upasitam ekachittaihi dhanyaha virejuhu itare bhava pashabadhaha. Okay. Now you can see how this first line is full of negation. Yeah? And we have often seen, how the Shastra will not tell Brahma is like this, Brahma is like that. Because Brahma cannot be categorized. This is black, this is white, this is tall, this is short. Yeah, and that is what is meant here. The first line says, that Nirguna Parabrahma, we already know Ashabdam, Asparsham, Arupam, Arasam, Agandham, Akarta, Abhokta, whatever you take Brahma to be, you are defining and limiting it. It is not that. So the first line says that Tattvam upon which the Dhanyas contemplate is Na Asat. Na Asat means what? Not non-existent. Yeah, even the Gita we have come across it. The language of negation, Natvaivaham Jatanasam Natvam Neme Janadipaha Nachaiva Navavishyamaha Sarve Vayamatah Param. Negation, Neti Neti. Now, if Neti Neti we keep on doing, then somebody may say, is it Shunyam? Does it exist at all? What are we studying? Why are we doing Shravanam Mananam? Pointless. If there is something non-existent Nirguna Brahma, so answer is, remember Kathopanishad, Astiti Eva Upalabdhaha. So the first starting point is to have Shraddha that Asti. It is there. There is a principle, it is denied, to be experienced to my mind and senses, but it is there. The principle is there. What is that principle? That is the Adhara, Adhisthana of this entire Jagat. When we look around, can we not infer there must be an intelligent principle governing everything? The entire nature, how meticulous, intelligently designed it is. So, Asti iti. And so, na asat. Yeah. And that is why we need Shraddha as a starting point. Very important qualification. Then, na asat over, then na sat. Yeah, it is now, Dhanyaashtakam says, it is not existent, na sat. Yeah, just now we saw it is existent as a principle. How can Dhanyaashtakam say it is not existent now, na sat? So here, the second na sat means it does not exist for us as an object. Yeah, like I say, flower is, cloth is, table is, glass is. Even if I say something is not, elephant is not in my room. Now, is common to everything. So, Nirguna Parabrahma is that easiness, pure existence. But it is not any of the objects. It is not an object conditioned in time and space. A flower or any of these objects, laptop, table, body, time, space, they are all what? Anityam. They are born, going, gone. Not so. Nirguna Parabrahma. It was, is, will be. Trikaleshu yat tishtati tat satyam. And so Satyam Brahma is na asat and also na sat. Then is it a combination of both? Is it sat and asat? Na sadas asat. Na sat and na asat. It is not a combination of, it is existent and non-existent? No. For example, the dream. The dream was very real. It existed for a few seconds. Then on waking up, non-existent. Is Brahma something like that? No. It is ever there. Then the negation continues. No, it is not Mahat. Is Nirguna Parabrahma the greatest God in the greatest loka or the greatest galaxy or the Mahan planet out there? No. No, not Mahat. And Nacha Anu. It is not even the tiniest microbe, or the grass, blade of grass and the subatomic particle. Mahachana Anuchana. Why? Because it is everything. Nirguna Parabrahma is the core essence of all the forms, but itself is formless. And hence the Shastra says, it is neither big nor small, neither tall nor short, neither fair nor dark. Then it continues, it is neither Stri, it is neither female nor male nor Napunsakam, transgender. This has been officially recognized now, isn't it, in the country as a third gender. And that is why in the Kathopanishad we saw a word for Nirguna Parabrahma as Alingaha. Linga means gender. Yeah. Now, where is the gender really speaking? In the physical body, Sthula Shariram alone has gender, right? The anatomy. But there is no linga, no gender in the subtle shariram mind, much less the causal state. And so Nirguna Parabrahma is alingaha, na stri, na puma, na napunsakam. Then what is it? Ekabijam. Ekabijam, that is the single source and the cause of this entire Jagat. Yeah, Ekabijam. And tat samam upasitam. And upon that, upon such a Nirguna Brahma, upasitam is meditated upon. Now this upasana is not the Saguna Brahma upasana, obviously, because Saguna upasana will have a form and attributes. I meditate on Devi, Shiva, Krishna with a flute, No, not so here. That samam upasitam Brahma. By turning the mind inwards. How to do that? Ekachittehi. By making the mind very, very steady and one-pointed. And that is meditating on Om. On Om or on Nididhyasana Shloka or on a word like Ajaha Amrityaho. Then what? Yaihi Brahma. Tatsam. By these dhanyas, it is upasitam, meditated upon, nididhyasanam. Dhanyas do that. And who else are the dhanyas? Virejuhu. Virejuhu means those who are free from rajas, the unsteadiness of the mind. That is, Virejuhu means they are the self-shining ones, the dhanyas. And then finally, what about the others? Itare bhava pasha baddhaha. The others are all what? Looping in samsara. When the mind is distracted, when the mind, there is a predominant rajas in the mind, then the mind will be extroverted, chasing the finite objects in the world, and then caught up in this karma phalam, janma cycle. But not so the dhanyas. Yeah? And we see how, the itara, they are helplessly caught in the ocean of becoming. Whereas the viveki, the dhanyas, they have mastered this paravasham, that is dependence on anything external. They do not depend even on the body or the mind, because that is also given. And their only sole support is Ishvara. Total surrender being there through the understanding that everything is given and I have no rights, no ownership over everything, including my body. If I had ownership over the body, will I not be able to control the graying of my hair and the decline of the sense organs, the aging process? But we have no choice. Yeah, the time takes over. But the dhanyas, they are able to focus on the parent of time itself, on the timeless essence, formless, timeless essence, that is the Nirguna Para Brahma. Such is the nature of the dhanyas. So here it was quite a Vedantic shloka here in praise of the dhanyas. Now let's go to the 7th shloka. Seventh shloka. Ajnana panka parimagnampeta saram.
Ajnana panka parimagnampeta saram.
Dukhalayam marana janma jaravasaktam.
Dukhalayam marana janma jaravasaktam.
Samsara bandhanam anityam aveksha dhanyaha.
Samsara bandhanam anityam aveksha dhanyaha.
Jnanasina tadavashirya vinishchayanti.
Jnanasina tadavashirya vinishchayanti.
Ajnana panka parimagnampeta saram. Dukhalayam marana janma jaravasaktam. Samsara bandhanam anityam aveksha dhanyaha. Jnanasina tadavashirya vinishchayanti.
Ajnana panka parimagnampeta saram. दुःखालयं मरणजन्मजरावसक्तं संसारबन्धनमनित्यमवेक्ष्य धन्याः ज्ञानासिना तदवशीर्य विनिश्चयन्ति.
So here we have got the description of this bhava samsara. You know, samsara, we have seen so many analogies for samsara, have we not? It's described as a tree of life, samsara vrikshaha. Then elsewhere, it's an ocean and the jivas are drowning. Then it is a bhavagnihi, it is a fire that is roasting us, you know? And it is a python, samsara sarpaha, which is gobbling all the jivas, you know, sarvabhakshakaha. And here, samsara is compared to a quicksand. Panka. Panka means slush, but a slush that will suck everything in. So, ajnana panka parimagnam apeta saram dukkhalayam marana janma jaravasaktam samsara bandhanam anityam avekshya dhanyaha jnanasina tat avashirya vinishchayanti. Yeah? But there is hope and light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah? Now here we see that samsara is likened to panka. You know, the word pankaja means lotus. And where does lotus grow? In the mud, muddy waters. So it's a very beautiful symbol in the entire Shastras that be like a lotus. The lotus has its face towards the sun. So you too face the Atma sun and then expand. And then, you know, it doesn't matter where you're born, how the circumstances are, the panka, whatever the worry and anxiety, and become free like the lotus. So, ajnana panka parimagnam. Parimagna means submerged and drowning. Who is that? The struggling jiva. The karta bhokta, sukhi dukhi, samsari, but the jiva is struggling in the samsara. And is a samsara, he is born into it? It is a maya kalpita samsara. You know, the samsara is self-created. It's like a self-created prison. We saw earlier. How? Because samsara vrikshaha is born of I, me, and my notion. Yeah? So the embodied one, when identified with the body and the mind, will have thoughts, and from the thoughts will manifest as kama, then Krishna, then karma phalam, and janma, and then round and round. So where is the samsara vrikshaha? It is notional, it is in the mind. We don't experience samsara in deep sleep. You know, where did all this worries, anxieties, those debts and loans we took disappear in deep sleep? Blissfully ignorant, we are free from samsara and we get a very good break. Yeah? Then the samsara returns in the waking state. So the dhanyas are freed of this samsara turbulence even in the waking state because they have woken up from this dream-like life itself. The life is compared to a avidya nidra. So here, ajnana panka. Ajnana panka means the samsara compared to the quicksand, the slush of ajnanam. Ajnanam is self-ignorance. Yeah, this jiva is parimagnam, drowning, helplessly drowning. And such a samsara is what? Apeta saram. Apeta means devoid of, without saram. You know, where is light, where is hope, and where is, you know, saram, juice or essence? You know, it is not fun to be drowning in this ocean of samsara. So, ajnana panka parimagnam apeta saram. So, the samsara, what else is it? Dukkhalayam. See, the word alaya is neutral. You know, we just chant it, right? Shruti Smriti Purananam alayam karunalayam, referring to Adi Shankaracharya, who is the ocean of compassion, abode of the Shastra, Shruti Smriti Puranas. But the body and mind-centered samsara is described as dukkhalayam, an abode of misery. Now, we may wonder, you know, why is the Shastra giving such a pathetic description of samsara? Is the world not so beautiful with all the birds and my dear family members? Everything is going well. There is no want, no desire. Why such a miserable picture? Then we have to remember what Bhaja Govindam. Another text by Adi Shankaracharya, very first verse, what does Shankaracharya do? Hammers out the delusion from the mind and says, "Oh Mudamate, wake up, Bhaja Govindam, Mudamate, samsari, from this samsara dream, you wake up." So, unless there is a hammer, want to wake up, what will we do? We will continue to be in bondage. And sometimes we think, okay, I can handle this bondage. Let me arrange a few things here and there, and give a temporary break, change my hairstyle, change the city, change relationships, change the food, look up some new recipes in the YouTube video. But samsara continues. Now, unless it is unmulayati, it is uprooted. Yeah? And that is why Shastras and Acharyas will use, present the harsh reality. It is a dukkhalayam. It is a dukkhalayam for whom? For the Vivekis. Not for the worldly people who are nimagnam in the aparavidya. Those who are enjoying life, it is fine, they carry on with that. But for the discerning person and for the Viveki, sarvam dukkhameva, arjane dukkham, rakshane dukkham, nashe dukkham. It is the struggle to strive and acquire anything and struggle to maintain it. And when I lose things, there is maximum dukkham. Yeah, dukkhameva dukkham for only the mumukshu, seekers of moksha. So it is a dukkhalayam. And then further it continues. This dukkhalayam is what fraught with, characterized by marana, janma, jara, avasaktam. Avasakta means entangled. One is entangled in this prison called the body. Now, Janma is dukkham. Why? Because there is a Upanishad which describes, the passage of the Jiva baby through the umbilical cord, how it is squeezed. And it is remembering Narayana, but it says, Narayana, I am going to be born into samsara, please protect me and help me to remember you. Let me not forget you, is the prayer in the womb. And then it is born, what does it do? Cries. And everybody else is welcoming it with great joy. But the baby is born crying. Yeah. Then between Janma and Marana, Marana will happen whenever it has to happen. Yeah? When the prarabdha is over. Let us not worry about that. But there is a fear of Marana. And there is a fear of Marana. Not only that, between Janma and Marana, what is there? There is midlife crisis, struggle. There is Jara. Jara looms large. Jara means what? I go from one room to another, then I'm wondering, what was I searching for? What did I want to get? Memory loss, insecurity, loneliness. Why people don't call me? Why am I alone? Jara. No? And faculties are failing me, body is becoming weak, metabolism is going down. So, Jara is considered very frightening stage. What about youth? Youth is not mentioned here because the young people think the whole future is in front of them. Yeah? They are happily planning, which is fine, but even they go through an uncertain, unsteady stage. Hormonal disturbances are there, turbulence is there. So, which stage of life is comfortable really? Janma, Marana, Jara, Avasaktam. That is the nature of this Dukkhalayam world. Yeah. And so, but the good news is Samsara Bandhanam Anityam. This bondage, what does the Shastra say? This is self-created. You are free already. Yeah. And you have to only apply the Atma, Anatma, Viveka, approach a Sadguru, pursue the Paravidya, and you will also be free. So, Samsara Bandhanam Anityam. Yeah. This Samsara Bandhanam is only notional, it's only in the mind, and hence it is Anityam. Yeah? Anityam. Then how to get rid of the samsara? Asanga Shastrena Dridena Chitva. This samsara vrikshaha can be uprooted or felled by the Shastra, by the sword of detachment. And here the word is Jnanasina. Asi means sword. So the sword of knowledge. What knowledge? Param Jnanam. This liberating knowledge, beginning with Atma Anatma Viveka first. And then Aham Brahmasmi, that is the Brahmastram, used to, completely uproot and do away with the Ravana, the ego. Then what do they do? Tat Avashirya. Avashirya is to cut, to cut, having cut this Ajnanam. Then what? Vinishchayanti. Vinishchayanti is they abide, gain the wisdom. They gain the wisdom and they become dhanyas. So, in the Viveka Chudamani also Adi Shankaracharya describes, the jiva as a silkworm. What does a silkworm do? It will wrap the silk threads around it, not knowing that that will be the cause of its downfall. And soon it will land in this, pot of boiling water for the sake of the silk industry. So the jiva is described as, the self-imprisoned silkworm-like, troubled jiva. But the good news is it is anityam. Yeah? By the grace of Sadguru, by the Shastra Kripa, one comes out of this state of Ajnana Pankam, the slush, and becomes free. So you see that Bhajagovindam is called Moha Mudgaraha, the hammer, that which hammers away the delusion. In Bhajagovindam, you will find more serious picture will be there. Adi Shankaracharya will say, everybody likes you only because you are giving them some cash, some gifts. Once you retire, nobody will ask you, how are you doing? Do you want a cup of coffee? Nobody will take care of you. This may not be the truth in our homes, but this is the worst scenario that Adi Shankaracharya takes. And he says, so do not call anybody your beloved, beloved anything. Have Atma Vasham, self-independence. And with that emotional independence and gaining the self-knowledge, become free here and now. Enjoy the Jivan Mukti. So these dhanyas here, they gain the clarity and the purpose, the Parama Purushartha of life and become free. Now we come to the last shloka of Dhanyaashtakam, that is the 8th and final one. Shantairananyamativirmadurasvabhavaihi
शान्तैरनन्यमतिभिर्मधुरस्वभावैः
एकत्वनिश्चितमनोभिरपेतमोहैः
निश्चितमनोभिरपैतमोहैः
साकं वनेषु विदितात्मपदस्वरूपैः
साकं वनेषु विदितात्मपदस्वरूपैः
तद्वस्तु सम्यगनिशं विमृशन्ति धन्याः
तद्वस्तु सम्यगनिशं विमृशन्ति धन्याः
शान्तैरनन्यमतिभिर्मधुरस्वभावैः एकत्वनिश्चितमनोभिरपेतमोहैः साकं वनेषु विदितात्मपदस्वरूपैः तद्वस्तु सम्यगनिशं विमृशन्ति धन्याः
शान्तैरनन्यमतिभिर्मधुरस्वभावैः एकत्वनिश्चितमनोभिरपेतमोहैः साकं वनेषु विदितात्मपदस्वरूपैः तद्वस्तु सम्यक् अनिशं विमृशन्ति धन्याः.
Now, in this final verse, Adi Shankaracharya is talking about the importance of satsanga. In the Bhajagovindam, Adi Shankaracharya has composed such a beautiful verse. Satsangatve nissangatve nissangatve nirmohatve nirmohatve nischalatatve निश्चलतत्त्वे जीवन्मुक्तिः भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते. Satsanga is very, very important. And so the Dhanyas, they keep the company of the wise. So what does the shloka say here? Long lines here. Shantehi ananya matibhihi madhuhu madhura swabhavaihi ekatva nischita manobhihi apeta mohaihi. Long line like a caterpillar. Sakam vaneshu viditatma padaswarupaihi tat vastu samyak anisham vimrishanti dhanyaha. Let us break it, word by word. Shantaihi ananya matibihi. Shantaihi is simple, with a calm mind. Then ananya matibihi means with a mind that is not focused on something else other than Atmavastu. Ananya matibihi and madhura swabhavaihi. Madhura swabhava means a sweet-natured person, referring to the wise. The wise who don't have an agenda, who are not judgmental, who have nothing but sweetness to offer to the world. Madhura swabhavaihi, with these sweet-natured people who have nothing else in the mind other than Ekam Brahma, who have the vision of oneness and who have calm dispositions. Yeah? Then Ekatva Nischita Manobhihi, by a mind that is grounded in this oneness and which is Apeta Mohaihi, simple, free from Moha. Moha is what? Some form of clinging, attachment, expectation is Moha. Like expecting money to be the source of happiness is an example of Shobhana Dhyasa, exaggerated value upon money. Whereas objectivity tells us money is money. It is useful. I will pursue it and I need it also. But it cannot give me happiness. So these dhanyas are apeta mohaihi, from every kind of delusion. This belongs to me. This is who I am. All the anatma centered moha has been dispelled. Then sakam together, vaneshu, in the forests. Yeah? It can be literally in calm ashram-like areas or forest-like homes. Wherever they are so withdrawn and contemplative that it is a forest for them, even amongst in the busy locations. Yeah, Swami Tattvavidananda will say even Monda Bazaar can become a forest for an advanced jnani. Yeah, so a very bustling shopping mall can also appear as a forest for somebody who has this chitta ekagrata. So sakam vaneshu, together, then viditatma padaswarupaihi, that is having understood vidita atma swarupaihi, the ultimate nature of eka atma, of the one single source, tat vastu samyak anisham. Anisham means constantly, perfectly and constantly. What do the dhanyas do along with all these people? Vimrishanti. Vimarsha means discussion. Vimrishanti means they will discuss only about Karanam Brahma. Yeah, they will discuss, they will exchange, ideas and discuss all these topics. This is what they will forward in their WhatsApp if they have a mobile, and they will contemplate upon it and remove the doubts and strengthen the Atma Tattva Jnanam. Okay? So this verse talks about the importance of Satsanga and how the Satsanga can give the groundedness in and anchoredness in the Atma Tattva. So one important thing is, Vedanta is the science of Atma, is gaining Atma knowledge. But it does not mean that for that one physically runs away, isolating oneself in a exclusive, secluded ashram or a cave. No. It is just an intelligent, wiser way of living. Yeah, living by developing the inner detachment and inner peace of mind. Even amongst the thick of activity, role playing is there, grahasthashrama, intense pressure may be there, but I have developed the space between I, the Atma, and Anatma, everything else. Anatma role, Anatma world, Anatma family members, Anatma body, mind also. So that I have gained by Nididhyasanam. Yeah? And so these are the steps that the Dhanyas have taken. We see just like in Sadhana Panchakam, how systematically they've mastered the negative tendencies, and then through seva, karma yoga, role playing, gained the calm, mind free from raga dveshas, then approaching the Sadguru, they're in Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam, and then gaining the clarity. They are anchored in the highest liberating knowledge, that is this wisdom that have given them the status of Dhanyas. And with that, we conclude this Dhanyaashtakam composed by Adi Shankaracharya, who has compressed the essence of the Upanishads and the Gita in this. So, this nature of Dhanya are the one who are drinking the Upanishad Rasam. That is the Rama Rasam. And they are this Atma Ramas. Atma Rama means Atmani Ramayanti. They rejoice in the Atma Tattvam. Whereas Indriya Ramas, the opposite, revel and rejoice in the Indriya Sukha. The Sukham, that is temporary, that is finite, that is addictive, that is comes and goes. Agama Painaha. No? But the Viveki have discerned that I don't want to keep going round and round in circles. I want to break this. And so they slow down, they pause, they look inward, and they gain this ultimate knowledge. Yeah. So, there is that song I'm reminded of, again by Mirabai. Payo ji maine Ram Ratan dhan payo. Payo ji maine. So she says, this Ram Ratan I have found in my own heart. But it is unmol, it is invaluable and given to me by my Sadguru. That is the grace of the Sadguru blesses one with the treasure of this Atma Yagam. And so that is the biography of a Dhanya given in this Dhanyaashtakam. And so these Dhanya Purushas, like even Adi Shankaracharya, what will they sing? The song of liberation, Chidananda Rupaha, Shivoham, Shivoham. And that whole Nirvana Shaktam is nothing but negation, language of negation. I am not the body, I am not the mind, not the elements, not the sense organs. There is no Papa Punyam for me. There is not even Mata Pita for me, no Purusharthas for me, because I am everything. I am the essence of the entire creation, Chidananda Rupaha, Shivoham, Shivoham. So, for such Dhanyas, this Jagat is a Nandavanam. Nandati, Nandati, Nandativa. They're always in a state of happiness, blessing, everyone wherever they go. And whatever happens to them means their bodies. That is seen as just a shadow. That is a prarabdha karma. But they are enjoying that Rama Ratan, or that inner peace, security, and happiness, which is limitless. Om Tat Sat. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.